Thanks for coming and listening to our exciting story. I think I might do things a bit differently. I've had a few meetings and we've gone way over 15 minutes. So what I've done is we just have the investment highlights. We've been very busy over the last few months, and we've done some drilling and some prospecting, so we can go through that, as well as how we're relatively compared to how does this work? Okay. Other companies in Ontario. So legal disclaimer, I'll leave that for the website. So why is this a good investment opportunity? So we've just recently confirmed historical results from a base metal wholly owned project, Contact Bay in Dryden. Should probably start off on where we are. I don't have that on here. So we're in northwestern Ontario, 4.5 hours north of Thunder Bay. By drive, you can also fly into Sioux Lookout, and then our property is approximately 20 minutes drive by paved highway. So we're a diversified exploration company from a metals perspective did I switch it? Shoot. No, I didn't. Oh, sorry. With significant exploration upside that we've been active on, and we want to maintain that intensity through the winter. We're fully permitted across the 3 targets that we'd like to further explore, as well as additional permitting from our prospecting and field program this year. We're undervalued relative to the 27 companies that I benchmark ourselves to. So to be included in that 27 companies, you have to have a flagship project in Ontario, actively advancing that property as of recent. So we benchmark very well against that, and we can go through that momentarily. The majority of our news flow is still to come. So what we have is we've drilled off 3 different targets with standalone deposit potential, as well as a prospecting program that we capitalized on. We have Contact Bay, which finished up early, so that was your copper, nickel, platinum, palladium, and then we also moved the team back up to our flagship Drayton Black Lake project to finish off prospecting. I think we hit 20 out of the 24 mineralized occurrences, which was fantastic. It was a nice blessing in disguise, and capitalized on that. So we have a ton of news flow left to come. So call it, we have. I have a news flow forecast here. We've released 2 news releases, so you can probably look forward to about 8 more. And on that note, I'll probably skip around a little bit, but we trade very well. So relative to other companies in Ontario that are in junior exploration, we're about 250,000 a day, which puts us in, I think, the top. I think we're number 2 in that. So there's definitely some liquidity and some great attention to our story. We have a tight capital structure at 47 million shares out. And more specifically, I've gone through an exercise where, because I've been so actively involved in raising the capital, I know where about 42 million of the 47 million shares are at this point. So from an entry standpoint, it's a fantastic time to look, because we're really tightened up to the upside. Since we went public, we've cleaned off about 11 million in buying, and that's standing, and I know where that is. Which is fantastic. So, which leads to my next point. We're at or around founder level share price. There's no half penny or penny paper. There's nothing wrong with that for other companies, but just for some context on where we sit relative to everyone else, you're coming in right around the founder level price and seed price. So that's me, mom, dad, 2 years ago. So very exciting. We have an experienced board and management team. So myself, chartered accountant, chartered financial analyst. I'm also a licensed prospector and helped out up at site, very active about half the summer. My girlfriend wasn't too happy about that, but that's okay, because we got a lot of work done. Example, I'm out in the field prospecting, and I'm also filling sandbags for the core shack to keep the tent down, because we're doing it on a budget. We also have 2 directors from the Trelawney sale to IM Gold, with the Cote mine, which is quite popular right now. So that was sale to IM Gold in 2012. We also have Ray Carvelis, who is he was the CEO of DRA Global. They went public in Australia, so he's a mine builder. So we do have, when we look at a property, we look at, proximity to infrastructure. Access is fantastic. We're close to power. There's significant historical workups, and we've done a systematic approach to develop these properties, to develop these targets. So it's very exciting, and it's great because we still have a lot of news left to go. Just to review, so the 3 target areas is Alcona, New Millennium, and Moretti. These are orogenic low gold style deposits, very similar to what our Treasury Metals has, which is a long trend of the belt that we're on, the Eagle, Wabagoon, Manitou belt. Our recent drill results confirm that there's early indications that we are similar to Treasury Metals, and I'll go through that momentarily. From a capital standpoint and capital structure standpoint, so management owns 15%. We have 4 institutions in our deal right now in our company, 10-point fund, Coolor Capital, which is a licensed exempt market dealer that I also run the Toronto office for. And then we also have 11 Fund, which is an on-market only fund that buys due to our liquidity and our active involvement with the marketplace and trading. Stillwater Critical Minerals is our option ore. And then retail, we have John Seaman, Ewan Downey's come in. We also have good support from Lee Jones, Hampton, and Foster and Associates. Probably have taken down a couple million shares over since we went public, which is fantastic. So as I said before, 2.5 million market cap. We trade very well, 47 million shares out, and then we got some fun stuff. I went a little bit, probably too much, overboard with the LinkedIn and Twitter, so we're on the top of all social media platforms throughout compared to everyone else. So, and why I think that's important is when the sentiment shifts, I think you have to be one of the loudest in your group, and then when it comes back down to you down cap, you'll get most of the attention. So we've been very active on that space, and by active I mean I personally message people on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and I actually got like a $55,000 order when we were doing our IPO. So it works. It's tedious, but it's a lot of fun. Our cash balance is reasonable. At approximately, by the end of the month, will be around $500,000, including an option payment in there as well. And then from a market cap standpoint, we are, I can't even barely see that, 25 out of 27. So we're in the bottom quartile of our valuation. We have the one of the largest land packages, 24 mineralized occurrences, active drill program, news to come, and we trade. So definitely a very exciting story to look at. Then what I've done here, again, it's a bit busy, but it's for this conference, so that's okay. What I've done is we've done what we said we would do. That's what this slide is. So what this slide is it layers since we went public, since inception. As you can see, when we know that we're drilling, that's what people care about, and that's what the volume portion of the chart is at. The bottom is all of our news releases broken out on when they came out and whether they're general IPO, Ontario Junior Exploration Program, which we received $200,000. We've also been approved again this year, as well as our flagship project updates and Contact Bay. So what you have is consistent news flow with material events that drive liquidity, which is good in this market that we're in. There's investment decisions that are being made based on liquidity, and we've done a very good job in communicating that out. And since we've done a good job, I've also put in a news flow forecast, so what we can all look forward to. So how we drilled this program is we identified 3 standalone deposit potentials, Alcona, New Millennium, and Moretti, and we drilled that off in sequence so that you don't release all of your news all at once and then you waste your bullets. We have continuous bullets and ammo to come out and tell everybody about the story so that you keep the market guessing on what you're going to come out with. So we have a partial update in Alcona, which I'll go through soon. And New Millennium is a new discovery that has never been drilled before. That was the best grab sample, or what is it called, a frost upheaval? I call it a grab, but the prospector was very adamant that this was very close. And we found the vein. It ran 30 grams, but the frost upheaval grab sample ran 2,330 grams. So very impressive, complementary geophysical and channel sample program supported a couple drill holes under there, and we pinned it and hit it both times. So we're very excited about that. We haven't released it yet, as well as Moretti, the Moretti deformation corridor in the northwestern portion of the property. We've hit that in every hole. So we have great mineralization with outstanding assays, but the assays will tell. Quick summary of our Board and management. So the middle two are the Trelawney sale to IM Gold. Bottom left is Ray Carvelis. Patrick Sullivan's on partner track at Osler. He's also our corporate secretary. Out in Vancouver, and we get the family and friends rate, so it's not too expensive, but we have some high power legal, which is good. It's very good negotiating our flagship project. That took 7 months to negotiate. Rachel Che is our CFO officer. So Stephen Hughes and Mitch Lavery. Stephen Hughes was they were both our geological advisors. Stephen Hughes was he was the head of above and underground exploration at the Grasberg mine in Indonesia. For Freeport, so one of the biggest, I think the biggest copper mine in the world. They're still mining what he found. Mitch Lavery discovered the North Zone at Bell Creek and helped put part of the process of putting the Juby gold mine into production. So very familiar with Ontario. We all know what it takes to make something, and we're seeing early indications of that from our first drill results. This is where we are. So as you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit more on where exactly we are, but just in relevance to, this is our elephant country slide. We're in elephant country on a, unloved belt that we're looking to share some love to. This is an overview of the 2 projects that we have. So what we have is, orogenic low gold, and we can, this is available on the website, so we can look over it later. So this is a zoom in with bedrock geology overlain on top, really showing our relation on the belt to Treasury Metals. Oteco is also in the area as well. They've had a good press release. They have it up to 74 grams per ton gold as well, so that's very exciting and good for the area. I did give them a bit of a shot because I'm very active, and I actually helped them find a boat, but we didn't get any mention on their press release and their map. So, but I helped their team find a boat and secure an ATV, so Darren got an email from me. These are 3 targets. Summary, I've already summarized them and we talked about them, so we can speed over and get to the fun stuff. This is geophysical airborne EM and mag that we flew before we showed up on the property. So what we did is, there's never been an airborne EM and mag done on the property. There's a ton of historical information. There's 176 holes, 20,000 meters of drilling peppered out through various target areas. So if we're going to wave the flag of systematic exploration, you probably need to have a consistent data set. So we did that before we went public. This is a great slide overview, just jumping into and elaborating on the previous slide that we, with Alcona and, with Drayton Black Lake and Contact Bay. And this is our deposit potential 1. So what we have here is broad anomalous zones in every single hole that we have. So there's 9 holes here that have been drilled in this area in total. 6 of them have come back, and we've followed up on channel samples. So our channel samples from last year were 11 and a half meters on 1.8 grams gold, also with favorable silver values. And then what we're seeing at depth, which we've extended 145 meters down from 75 meters, we're seeing mineralization continue. Broad anomalous zones. It's not kicking as much as I think you'd want. I mean, we haven't had a Dynasty gold hit or a Dryden gold hit yet, but we've only done 2,000 meters in this area. But what we're seeing is very exciting and early indications of a low-grade, high-tonnage potential deposit. The access is also fantastic. So we've had 15 meters of 1.48, a lot of smoke, 0.85 over 8 meters, etc. So very, very encouraging. And that's 200 meters wide by 1 kilometer long, 145 deep. I think what we're thinking about doing as a phase 2, as part of a phase 2, because there is a positive correlation between sulfides and gold, which would favorably work for an IP program. So what we want to do is, from a systematic standpoint, run an IP program and then do some drilling. IP can get down, I'm told, to about 500 meters. We can see what's going on, and that'll give you your big blue sky, where are we? And that's obviously permitted in our phase 2, and then we can do some follow-up drilling and hone in on the mineralized halos that we think are consistent throughout the property and really expand. The point is if any of these targets make it to the end of phase 2 and want to move on, that's a resource delineation decision, and then we'll have a partner and we'll go for that. So our plan is to be, rapidly advance to a resource systematically with less meters and less money than has been done on the belt. That's our thesis. This is a great slide, and I draw your attention to the bottom. So our grades are, we're touching a gram around a couple areas, but I think an important point is that we're very close to treasury metals and their goldland deposits, so we're seeing a lot of similarities. I've looked at the holes myself because everything's available on MLAS, and I can click on there until 3, 4 in the morning if I really get going. Very similar early indications of what they have, and they have over 1 million ounces in that area. I believe it's 0.8. I can't see that, but it's 911 meters at 0.85, and then they have 600 and change at 0.7, and then their reserve is just above a gram. So we are hitting very similar early indications of what that is. I know we can't say that it's the same thing, but it's definitely interesting. This is our previously worked up geological model. I think I'm at time, right? 1, 2, 3 minutes. Do we want questions?
If you want to.
I can keep going. So we've modeled this up historically, and I'll just do a touch point VG. You need that. Okay. This is our contact base slide. So we've had some high-grade nickel, copper, and PGE indications here. What we've done now is engaged Mirror Geoscience across the board. They'll be doing a 3D model for us as well, and we've bought a couple more claims in the Contact Bay area to make it a wholly owned package. And that's right south of Kinross, of which we're also actively talking to do something with, but that's just emails, so no commitment, so I can chat about that a bit. But in the top right, you have a past producer of 20 ounces in 1916 to 1918, by hand 20 ounces. It's still coming out. By hand, that's impressive. And then you have some great geophysical anomalies that have been ground truthed and oriented in our database. So very exciting, a lot of news to come. Happy to take any questions.